Here we are. Once again, I reiterate, if you do not own a Dodgers hat, if you don't claim them as your favorite team, you might as well have just hibernated for the entire MLB free agency up until this point, because the Dodgers have now spent $1 billion on two players. The Yoshinobu Yamamoto sweepstakes is over. Long running, long lasting. There was a handful of teams that were involved, but ultimately it is the Dodgers. You know, you could say that for basically anybody, I think. It's always the Dodgers, at least until it comes to hanging up World Series banners. They did in 2020. Yoshinobu is headed to Los Angeles on a 12-year, $325 million contract, which is unprecedented for a player coming from the NPB. Now, Yoshinobu is unique in the fact that he is so young. He is only 25 years old, which is crazy. So often, players coming from the Nippon Professional Baseball League are older, typically 30 plus. Like Ichiro, for example, he was pretty old. Kodai Senga, he also was quite old as well, as he just made the jump over. But Yoshinobu, much like his now teammate Shohei, very young coming overseas into playing Major League Baseball. And if you are not familiar with Yoshinobu Yamamoto, that is surprising because he has probably been the biggest name talked about that wasn't Shohei Ohtani this offseason. Yoshinobu is fantastic. He has won 3 consecutive Japanese Cy Young Awards, that being the Sawamura Award. He has won the last 3 MVP awards in the Pacific League of the NPB as well, as a member of the Oryx Buffaloes. He is fantastic. I made a whole deep dive talking about just why he's going to tear the world apart when he comes to Major League Baseball, and why he is worth every penny of $325 million. This 12-year deal, so I'm mapping this out. I was nearly about to go to bed, but, Jeff Passan interrupted those plans naturally. He's going to be in Los Angeles until he's 37. For a pitcher these days, that is worrisome, which it comes in an interesting time too, because MLB's competition committee stated today that they're reducing the pitch clock even more. It is now going to be 18 seconds with runners on base as opposed to 20 last year. And there's going to be a lot of case studies. Give it another year or two sample size of just the influx of arm injuries that you see in pitchers with having to work quicker, and velocities are going up. Now, Yoshinobu is not a power pitcher in the traditional sense. That doesn't mean he doesn't throw hard. He does. He can get up to 99 miles an hour on the four-seam fastball, but he's not a Felix Bautista, who you can tell is expelling all his energy on any given pitch. I think Yoshinobu has the stuff to remain healthy. He was very dependable, and I expect that to stick now that he's coming stateside. A couple things in particular I want to gush about with Yoshi, because he's truly so good, and I think a lot of you guys, including myself, got to see that in the World Baseball Classic. He's got a tremendous splitter. It is one of the best in baseball already, and he's yet to throw a pitch in MLB. It's so good. He's got a devastating curveball as well. The fastball's got a lot of upwards velocity. He can also throw a slider in there, which has been pretty deadly. He's very effective. He strikes out batters, and he doesn't walk many, which is exactly what teams are looking for in a young pitcher. Again, it's hard to come to terms with that this young adult has had so much professional experience already. He's racked up so many awards. He's well accoladed, and he's only 25 years old. It is really just such a good deal that the Dodgers have right here. And obviously, there is still some risk. Is the competition as good in NPB as it is in MLB? No. It is certainly a lot better than some people like to give it credit for. Japan is extremely talented at baseball. They beat the U.S. in the World Baseball Classic. They are very good, And I don't think it's fair that some people kind of just cast away NPB as a minor league system of international level for Major League Baseball, because that's not the truth. They are very good and very talented, and Yoshinobu just happens to be the best of the bunch, and I think that's going to translate right over at MLB. He's going to be one of the best of the bunch right from the get-go. So the Dodgers, $300 million, they're not going to miss it. It's just going to make their team even better. And this signing in particular, I think they definitely need. They need stability in that rotation. We talked about it on the trade with Tyler Glasnow, a guy who has his fair share of injury issues. That's putting it lightly. That's sugarcoating it at this hour. They're getting back Walker Buehler, who's had 2 Tommy John surgeries. Tony Gonsolin, Dustin May are both going to miss all of 2024. Clayton Kershaw might come back. He might not. He might retire. He might re-sign. Shohei Ohtani, of course, is not going to pitch until 2025 at least. There starts to be a lot of questions. They have good young pitchers in LA, such as Emmett Sheehan and Bobby Miller, but besides that, you want somebody who you can depend on, who you know is going to be there, and it's a large chunk of money to have someone that you can rely to pitch every 5th day, but there's few that you could get as talented. It was clear that he wanted to go to a big market. It was clear that Yoshi wanted to go to a big market that was going to pay him, and that primarily rests in New York and Los Angeles. There were other players as well. Philadelphia was rumored, as was San Francisco and Toronto, but ultimately it's the same teams that sign the big players every single year. I do think that there's reason to be optimistic that this will now finally open the floodgates, and we're going to start to see guys like Blake Snell, guys like Cody Bellinger, the other big names this free agency period that you haven't heard a blip about. I do think there's reason to be optimistic that this can finally open up free agency. It's practically 2024, and so many big names you just haven't heard anything from. No rumors surrounding them at all because the teams are waiting for Shohei and Yoshinobu to make their choices, to decide where they're going to play in 2024. So hopefully the other teams can finally have something to be excited about. But let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this signing? Yoshinobu Yamamoto is headed to the Los Angeles Dodgers. I gotta say, they are stacking the deck to not an unprecedented level. We've seen great teams on paper, but realistically, how many are better than this Dodgers team? There's a lot of expectations, and we'll see if the Dodgers can finally meet them in 2024. Thank you guys for watching this one. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like down below.